Still Standing. What Endurance Looks Like When Nothing Breaks and Nothing Saves You, by Alex Kingston. Freedom Minds Books. Copyright 2026. This is a work of creative nonfiction. Names and details changed to protect privacy. Part 1. Introduction. The Day Nothing Happened. Tuesday, 3:47 p.m. The conference room was too cold, the kind of cold that makes you sit straighter without meaning to. Gray light pressed against the window like it was trying to get in. My laptop was open to an email draft, subject line blank, cursor blinking in the to field like it had all day. A voice on speakerphone recapped numbers that used to matter. I should have been listening. Instead, I watched rain drag itself down the glass in slow, uneven lines. Not a storm, not a break, just weather that couldn't commit. There was nothing wrong today. That was the problem. I typed what I always typed. Polite, precise, careful enough to offend nobody. The kind of message people call professional when they mean quiet. 4:12 p.m. The meeting ended. Chairs scraped back, laptops closed. Someone made a tired joke about needing a drink. I hit send, closed my screen, and walked to the kitchen for coffee. Third cup, bitter from sitting too long. The microwave hum filled the silence like it had something to prove. My phone buzzed once. A message from my sister. Dinner this weekend? I typed back, maybe. Because I didn't care, because even family felt like something I had to schedule around being useful. She replied instantly, sure. No drama, no urgency, no weight worth mentioning. And still, standing at the counter with reheated pasta I didn't taste, I felt the quiet inventory begin. Not a breakdown, not a revelation, just a fact settling into place. There was no moment when things fell apart, no single decision that saved me. Just years of days like this one, where I carried what needed carrying and kept the structure standing while everyone else looked away. Outside, the rain stayed steady, tapping the glass in a rhythm that almost sounded like patience. I rinsed the plate, dried my hands, went back to work. There was no moment when things fell apart. That's what made it harder to explain. Reflection. What ordinary day in your life carried more weight than it looked like it deserved? Chapter 1. Learning to hold weight. Age 14. Homework spread across the kitchen table, pencil pressed so hard my fingers cramped. The overhead bulb flickered once, then steadied. In the next room, my mother was on the phone, voice tight and careful. The kind of careful that meant she was negotiating with someone who had more power than she did. I know we missed the payment, but I kept my eyes on the page. I wasn't meant to hear it, but when you grow up in small spaces, sound travels. Worry travels faster. The front door opened and closed. My father's truck rumbled in the driveway for a moment, then backed out. Night shift. Work that started while we acted like dinner was guaranteed. Alex, my mother called, still on hold. Set the table. I did. Plates mismatched but clean, cups lined up straight, napkins folded precise. I didn't do it to be praised. I did it because order felt like the only thing in the house that was mine to control. Later that night, she came to my room and sat on the edge of my bed, the way adults do when they want to say something important but don't know how to start. She didn't apologize for anything. She didn't explain. She just looked at me for a long moment and said, "You're steady. I can count on you." Her hand squeezed my shoulder once, a small, final gesture, like a stamp, like a decision. I nodded, because nodding was what you did when you understood you'd been assigned something. Age 16. The neighbor's husband died suddenly, heart giving out in the middle of an ordinary chore. The street changed overnight. People moved differently. Voices softened. Someone set up a meal schedule. Someone else volunteered to pick up the kids from practice. I became the person who remembered the little things, bringing back the borrowed dish, taking out the trash so it didn't sit, walking the dog when no one else noticed it still needed walking. The neighbor pressed a small bill into my hand one afternoon. "For gas," she said. eyes glassy. You're an old soul. I gave it back, not out of pride, out of instinct. Accepting payment felt like admitting I'd been doing it for the wrong reason. So I just shook my head, soft, and went back to carrying what needed carrying. Age 19. First week away from home. A roommate crying into a phone at midnight, whispering to someone on the other end like the walls might judge him for missing his life. I stayed quiet, handed him water, helped him unpack in the morning, found the dining hall by 8, found the right office to get his schedule fixed. An RA passed by, glanced at the scene, and said, almost casually, "Good to have you around." That's how it happened. Not in one dramatic moment, in small assignments people gave you when they didn't know what else to do with their fear. Competence became protection early. When chaos circled, money tight, adults unsteady, expectations shifting, usefulness kept me anchored. I learned to read rooms before entering, anticipate needs before anyone asked, deliver before panic could spread. Not to shine, to stabilize. No one sat me down and taught it. They noticed after. "Alex holds it together," they'd say, like it was a weather report, like it was something that happened to me rather than something I chose every day. Years later, I realized the cost. You learn to manage pressure before you learn to want things. Wanting draws eyes. Wanting makes you visible. Managing lets you disappear inside function. And the skill compounds quietly. Reflection. Where did you first learn that being capable was safer than being seen? Chapter 2. The Habit of Being Capable. Third year at the same desk. Same badge, same building that smelled faintly of cleaning solution and burnt coffee. The kind of place where every day looked like the last, except the calendar kept moving like it was trying to prove time was real. Friday afternoon, the team lead resigned. No speech, no farewell lunch, just a short message in the group chat and a short calendar invite that disappeared. Monday morning, we sat in a meeting room with a manager who couldn't quite meet anyone's eyes. He shuffled papers he didn't need, cleared his throat twice. "We're going to need coverage," he said like he was asking for volunteers to move chairs. Then he scanned the room. "Who can take point on the Northbridge account?" My hand stayed down for a second, not because I couldn't, because I wanted to see if someone else would. No one moved. The manager's gaze landed on me anyway, the way it always did when something needed to be handled without drama. "I'll handle it," I said. Nods around the table. No surprise, no debate. The decisions settled in the room like dust. Predictable, quiet, inevitable. The weeks after blurred. Reports formatted clean enough to pass without questions. Client calls prepped with slides nobody admitted they needed. Deadlines met early, so no one had to feel the heat. People thanked me the way you thank a door for opening. "Saved us again. Good catch. You're a machine." In my review that quarter, the manager said, "Dependable performer." He said it like it was high praise, like it was the ceiling of what a person like me was meant to be. I smiled, I nodded. I walked out with a printed copy that looked official and felt thin. Same year, family wedding. A bridesmaid bailed. Seating chart chaos. Cake delayed. Small fires everywhere. The bride was about to cry in the bathroom, mascara half set, trying to breathe without ruining the photos. I made calls. I rearranged chairs. I found a substitute vendor, drove across town late at night, came back with boxes balanced on the passenger seat like I'd done it all my life. The bride hugged me quick and said, "I don't know what we'd do without you." Later, the groom clapped me on the shoulder and said, "You're the fixer." Not a compliment, an observation. Even with friends, it followed me. A dinner where a couple fought without raising their voice, sharp glances, silence that spoke louder than words. Everyone pretended not to notice. I kept things moving, passed the wine, changed the subject, asked someone about work, made it normal enough for people to keep eating. The next day, the husband texted, "Thanks for keeping it normal last night." Reliability makes you invisible. People lean without looking. They hand you weight like it's nothing because you've never dropped it before. Capability becomes habit. Habit becomes expectation. Expectation becomes identity. No one notices the load until it's yours to carry, and by then it doesn't look like burden, it looks like you. Reflection. When did you become the person other people don't worry about?